Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hello. So okay guys, I'm back. Welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to do a little chit chat with you guys, really about 30s versus my 40s mindset. Honestly, it's just so much different. I would say for me in my 40s compared to my 30s. My 30s, the girl just, ugh. I'm a little ashamed of that girl, but I would not have learned if I didn't go through those experiences. So I really wanted to just share with you guys a little bit of, a little bit of my boundaries I had then. I would have now that I didn't feel I had then. Childhood trauma, dating, and friendships, compared to those two stages of my life. So let's just jump right into it. Oh, before you start, don't forget to subscribe and click the like button. Yeah, let's go. So first I'll start off in my 30s. I felt like I was all over the place in my 30s. I had a lot of responsibility. In my 30s as well, having a child and so much responsibility, having to take care of a child, and also try to maintain a little bit of a social life for myself, and try to accomplish some things that I wasn't able to probably accomplish at that stage of my life. Still, having her at a young age, but I was driven. I was determined to make a life for her, give her the life that I didn't have growing up, putting her through the private school system, and also just giving her all the opportunities that my parents weren't able to give me because they weren't financially capable to do so, which a lot of us have that problem. Our parents work hard to try and give us the best life that they can. They tried their best. But I wanted her to not have to struggle through some of those things of trying to, work. Nothing wrong with working at a young age as well. But I wanted her to focus on her education, focus on trying to find a career that she would want to have, going to college, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so it came with a lot of responsibility for me in my 30s, in my 20s, and in my 30s, So first I'll start with boundaries for me. There were a lot of things I felt like I put up with a lot in my 30s. I just let things slide. I let people, a little bit take advantage of my kindness, or trying to please people in a way, make other people happy. And sometimes I'm not happy. Most of the times I wasn't happy because I was trying to make other people happy. And a little bit of that, I think, for me growing up, not growing up, how do I want to say this? I didn't grow up fortunate like some then, I would say. My parents struggled hard. My dad, both my parents, they worked really hard to give us the best that they can for us. But at the same time, I had a lot of friends who, were a lot more fortunate than I was. So I felt like I tried to fit in a little bit more with those friends because I wanted to be accepted in a way, by my peers, and growing up, I also had a little bit of being teased a lot. I was really, really skinny. I mean, I'm still skinny a little bit, but got a little something going on a little bit now than I did then. Yeah, but I was really skinny, and I was very subconscious, but I was taller than a lot of the boys as well. I was tall, I was skinny, and being called names a little bit, and I was so self-conscious about a lot of things. And then so when people would give me a little bit of that attention, I would grasp it and then trying to please people and make them happy. And I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, Antoinette, like, why do you feel like you need to be accepted by people? You should be happy with yourself, not trying to make you feel accepted, and sometimes you're trying to please people so much that you put up with things and even belittling yourself. And and I didn't have those boundaries. I let people run over me a little bit at that stage. Even in my 30s, I felt like I let a lot of things just, yeah. Every time I think about it, I'm like, man, I put up with a lot. I've been through a lot. But I felt like each process helped me to grow. It took a long time for me to actually grow past a lot of those things. And yeah, so I feel like even with setting those boundaries for certain things, I did not, in regards to relationships, I feel like I went through relationships where I felt I put so much of myself there, also trying to be accepted, trying to be liked, because I was not secure with myself. I was still subconscious about my size, and a little bit of not feeling like I'm good enough because I didn't come from much. And that is so sad to think that way, because you don't come from much, that you're not good enough. So you start to just accept whatever, thinking people who may have more than you are better than you, and you need to please them in order to be in their setting or their clique or whatever, that kind of stuff. And I went through it for a very long time, and I think I didn't start to really gradually start to set some boundaries for myself, what I would and would not put up with. And relationships, I feel like I put my all in it. I go at it, and I love hard. When I do love, I love hard. But those past traumas, those things still affected my relationship, because I was still trying to please and wasn't getting it in return, wasn't being treated right. And that's all my insecurities. And it's every time I think about it, honestly, it's just like, oh man, I just, that person, I wish I could just, if I can speak to myself and like, oh my God, girl, get a grip, love yourself, embrace who you are. You are a good person. You're a beautiful person, in and out. And I feel a lot of young women go through those things, and even men go through some of those things as well. They may not talk about it as much. So we put up with a lot, going through those things and not really speaking about them, and just accepting whatever we think we should accept because we want to fit in. Like I said, it carried into my dating life as to accepting a lot of things, putting up with a lot of things, being mistreated. And it's sad, because a lot of things I felt like I could have avoided, a lot of heartbreak I could have avoided, because if I had those boundaries, if I was secure within myself. And I wasn't. But as I started to grow, as I started to get older, I started to make some of those changes. It wasn't an easy process. I had to make those changes. I would stand in front of the mirror and I would be like, Antoinette, this is so weird. You are beautiful. You are a good person. You are an amazing person. You have a lot of capabilities. There are things, and a part of that too was I knew deep down I had those things, but I felt like I suppressed a lot of it. I didn't know how to really push that out of me. And I felt like I could have been a lot further even in my career life if I had pushed that. I was always timid in a lot of situations where I felt like, what if I fail? I'm not that, I always had this thing, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And I had to break past that. And I'm still fighting through some of those things. Excuse me. Still fighting through some of those things as I continue to grow, you know, because those things, they take over you, and it takes a lot for you to pull yourself out of that, build that self-confidence again, and actually push yourself and be able to tell yourself that you can do this. You are capable of accomplishing these things, and you are capable of love. And you will not put up with any crap from anybody, you know? So, yeah, going back to the whole dating situation of really putting up with a lot of things from certain relationships. And, you know, I try my best, even in my relationship today, I try to speak up more about those things, set my boundaries of what I will and will not put up with. Be more vocal with certain things that I felt like I wasn't really doing. I'm trying not to overthink, because I am an overthinker, and I feel like sometimes I overthink situations because, like I said, I'm always thinking, you know, this is going to happen to me because I don't deserve this. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to have good things. I don't deserve to just, and all those things in the back of your head, you start to play on in your mind, because you start to believe these things that you're not worthy of these things. And you have to find it within yourself to really start to love yourself. And that was it for me. I think I didn't love myself enough. I didn't love myself enough to not allow people to take advantage of me, not allow people to use me, and also just respect me. And that was the thing. I didn't have the respect for myself, and I didn't have the respect in certain situations to not allow people to do certain things to me. And so if they felt that I didn't have that for myself, they weren't going to give that to me. And it's hard to admit that, but it is reality. It is the truth. And I feel like sometimes we just let those negative things take over us, and we need to learn how to fight it. And I wasn't able to just fight that alone. I had to pray about that. I had to ask God to give me the ability to dig deep and find those things, that the same things why he loved me, you know, why God loves me, because he sees something within me that I don't see within myself. And I had to let him help me to grow, to see those things. And yeah, that even trickled down into friendships. I felt like with my friendships as well, people, when they really don't, if you don't know me, you would think I'm like closed off, which I am a little bit. I don't allow a lot of people in my space. I can be very closed off. So, but when I do open up to people and really, build friendships with people, I feel that I give my all, and I love, and I give, and I want the best for you. I try to be there for you. So I feel like with friendships, it's the same thing. It's that same thing as as a relationship. They're not going to give you what you're giving back if you don't have that within yourself. And sometimes with some friendships, I feel like I give. And sometimes you need to understand, you need to know where you stand in relationships with people. I think you need to set that from the beginning. The same thing as a relationship. When you're with a guy, are we dating? Are we, exclusive? Are we just seeing one another? Same thing as friendships. Is this a friendship? Are we friendship on the same level? Are you there for me the same way I'm going to be there for you? You need to know where you stand. Bill, am I your friend? You need to know where you stand with people, because you could be thinking that person is your friend, and then they're like, you ain't my friend. You're just there, So we need to know where we stand with people as well, and not assume relationships with people. And a lot of times we do that as well. And that has been a situation in relationships as well. You know, the person may seem like they're giving you everything as for a relationship, like they may want a relationship. But if you know, you verbalize where you stand with, you know, within the relationship, you could be, that's why you end up getting hurt. A lot of times I end up getting hurt because even with friendships, because you thinking this person is your friend and they don't see you as their friend. You may think this guy is your boyfriend or whatever, and he's like, no, we just kicking it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel for me, I had to grow a lot. And honestly, I don't feel I got to that point until my late 30s of how much I was going to put up with, how much of myself I am going to give to people. When am I going to put my foot down and walk away from situations that does not serve me? If you do not have my best interest at heart, I will not stick in the situation. I am going to walk away. I am going to leave. And I had to become that strong person. And I feel a part of it, I started to become the person I wanted to be, but at the same time, I felt like I was becoming so, how do I don't know how to explain this. I felt like I was, because I wanted to stop allowing people to take advantage of me or to set my boundaries. I started to become very shut off, very cold, and it made a lot of people probably not like me because they felt like, oh, she's just so rude or whatever. It's just that I just felt like I started to really speak, I'm not interested, or I'm not going to put up with this. And that was wrong. You can say the things that you want to put up with, but sometimes we become a little bit rude with it in a sense because we're trying to protect ourselves from people hurting us. And I started to do that a little bit, and I had to know how to do it without being rude, but still letting people understand this is what I stand for. This is what I will accept, and which is what I will not accept from you. Yeah, so it took a lot to get to that point for me. It took a lot of praying. It took a lot of self work, learning to love who I am, physically and internally. I feel like I had a conversation with someone the other day. They're like, oh, I'm too nice. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with being nice. Just as some people don't deserve your niceness, you being nice to them sometimes. But don't change who you are because people hurt you because you're too kind, you're too loving. Continue to be that person. You just need to know how much of that you need to give to people, and who is most deserving of that. All right, need some water here. Yeah, so I just wanted to share a little bit of that because it was an experience for me growing up, even in my adulthood, and it took a long time for me to really see those things and to get to this point in my life. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on, but something's in my throat. Sorry. I'm back. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I hope some of you can relate to this and understand where I'm coming from, and be able to, if you're going through some of these same things where you're not loving yourself the way that you need to love yourself, you're accepting anything from people, letting people treat you anyway, and thinking that it's okay because you're not worthy of it, you're not deserving of love or deserve to be treated right, then you need to start looking within yourself, start making those changes within yourself, start setting those boundaries, to in order to get the respect that you're deserving of. And sometimes, people do things to you, they're not going to always apologize for those things that they've done to you, but you have to learn to forgive them, to move on. And it took me a long time as well to forgive some people for certain things they have done to me. And that came with growth, okay? Like letting things go. Sometimes I have a hard time letting things go, but you have to learn to let things go in order for you to be happy. Trust me, I am learning that still. You have to learn to let things go in order for you to be happy. And God doesn't want us holding on to things. He wants us to learn how to forgive. Become a child. Children are so forgiving. No matter the things you do to them, they are so forgiving and loving. And we need to learn to be that way as well. But not at the same time learning to forgive, but learning how far you're going to allow people back into that space. You can still love them. Sometimes you got to love them a little bit from a distance. You can still do certain things for them, those that are deserving of those things. Like you just have to know the boundaries. How far of me you're going to get. And that's where I am in my life. How much I'm going to give to you is how much, the same amount of you give to me is what I'm going to give to you. So if you're not deserving of some of those certain things from me, I won't give it to you if you're not giving it back to me. I'm not going to pour myself into people who's not able to pour it back into me a little bit, And some people, I don't know how to pour it into you because they're so full of themselves. They're so consumed with what's going on with them. And sometimes they just don't have it to give. But you have to know how much you're going to give back out to them, because sometimes you can feel extremely drained from doing that. So yeah, my 30s was rough in my dating, in my friendships, and in my my career, my job and everything, how much I put up. I felt like I pour a little bit more into my job though. I felt like listen, I think a lot of people didn't like it. When it comes to my work, when I'm in my work, I am in my work. And I block out everything else. Nothing else matters when I'm in my work. And I am learning to get back into that, trying to find that drive again. I feel like I lost a little bit of it, that drive. But we're trying to start a whole new career. I still have that a part of the job that I do, but it's still finding new things of growing myself, knowing that I am capable of doing a whole lot more. I know what I'm capable of. I just need to push myself to that level and say that, Antoinette, you can do this. You can start a business. You can start to you can accomplish a lot more than what you feel that you can accomplish. And God is letting me see that you are an amazing person. There's a lot that you can do. But you have to find it for yourself and believe in yourself that you can do it. So I'm trying to push myself. I'm allowing God to push me and use me into the direction where He wants me to go. Because sometimes we have things that we feel like we want to do and it isn't the direction that God wants us to go. So a lot of things I'm praying and asking for His guidance to lead me, to help me to be the person that He sees me as. Let me see that person. I want to become that person of what He has for me who He has for me to be. Because I'm sure He has amazing things in store for my life. So, yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit of that and, of how, life was for me. And today I feel now I am, even though the whole process of moving to a new place was a challenge for me, I feel like I am gradually finding myself again. I felt like I lost myself a little bit again, but I'm finding myself slowly again. I am learning to get back to that point of seeing what I am capable of, learning to push beyond my boundaries, and I feel like I am more level-headed in situations of making certain calls of what I am going to deal with, but I'm not going to deal with. Speaking up more about how I am feeling, communicating more, letting people know how I feel, and not to hurt you in the process of telling you how I feel or what I see that you're doing to me, but and letting you understand, hey, you're hurting me. Hey, I don't like this. You did this to me. I'm becoming more vocal about those things. So, and I love that. I love that I'm able to do that a lot better than I was able to do then. I feel like it makes me, I just love that feeling. I feel good about myself when I'm able to do that. When you let people know, what they're doing wrong within you, not just sitting back and accepting things from allowing them to treat you any way that they want to, so yeah, so I just wanted to share a little bit of that, my mindset then and my mindset now, being a lot stronger mentally to deal with situations and not be so shut down and closed off. And it's a growing process, and sometimes we fall back into a little bit into those things, into that habit of that old person, when sometimes when we just lose focus, but you have to remember to get back at it. Don't fall back into that same trend. Grow. You have to grow. You have to become better. You can't stay in the same state, that same level anymore. You have to progress. You have to better yourself. You have to become a better person. And I wanted to be a better person, not just for myself, but for my daughter, to see that, you know what, I don't want you going through life thinking that it's okay to allow people to treat you a certain way, or put up with certain things, or not communicate because you don't want, you're trying to spare people's feelings from, because if you tell them what they're doing, that's affecting you. You need to be open. You need to let people know how much you're going to put up with and how much you're going to allow them to do, and also just respecting yourself, loving yourself. And yeah, so it wasn't just also for me, it was for my daughter. I wanted her to be that strong person, still have that soft side of her, but know how much you're going to allow into your space, and don't allow people to that you feel like you're less than, yeah, so that's really what I really wanted to share with you guys. Yeah, see my skin? I just got a facial today. So if you guys see my skin looking real greasy, I got a facial today. I have this little hydrating mask thing on, get my skin nice, like, oh, you guys see that? Like, ooh, sure. I just will be waking up looking like a ooh. Can't wait for the morning. I see my skin. That facial was so good. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sorry, guys. Yes. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you for watching. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you back here again in a few days. Thank you, and see you soon.